Hey guys, this is Soren Productions, aka None of 4673, and I am back in Hakuouki Part 14. Things are really sad. They're just really sad, because we became a Fury. I don't want to be a Fury, but we are a Fury, so fuck. I swear. God, I'm bad. The Battle of Koshu Katsunuma ended with another victory by the Imperial Army. Okita and I managed to make our way back to Edo, but it took longer than we'd hoped. My condition was deteriorating. The water of life was slowly transforming me into a fury, and I was beginning to feel the effects. It became painful to be awake during the day, and even the slightest scent of blood set my nerves on edge. Oh my god, Kaoru! You do a lot of things! You kill a lot of characters! Something you don't do is hurt Chizuru. There's many things you can get away with, but you will not get away with that. When you die, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna smile. This is gonna be spoiler for Game of Thrones. If you haven't seen it, just saying if you haven't watched it, season 4, I think. If you haven't watched season 4, then I want you to close your ears. This is gonna be a Joffrey moment. We're just gonna sit there and we're gonna smile as the life ebbs out of Kaoru. I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna be a creepy psychopath. I'm sorry. Still, I didn't feel a craving for blood. That was something. It was clear that my condition was slowing us, but Okita never complained. I appreciated his concern, but I still felt guilty. I knew he wanted to join Kondo as soon as he could, and I was holding him back. Even so, he never abandoned me. In time, we made it to Edo together. He might not have looked it, but he was a kind man. And he loves you. That helps a bit. We're back! As soon as we stepped into the house, I sank to the floor, all my energy spent. Good job, Chizuru. He grinned and gave me a sharp pat on the head. Upon reaching Edo, we found it under control of several domains who'd allied with the Imperial Army. There were soldiers everywhere, and just making it back to the house unnoticed had been difficult. We'll go find Matsumoto tomorrow and figure out what's going on in Edo, alright? Our trek had left us out of touch with the goings on the rest of the world. We hoped Dr. Matsumoto would be able to tell us where the rest of the Shinsengumi had gone. You don't look so hot. I think you better hit the sack early tonight. Finally, we can sleep in a real bed. I grinned. We were wanted by the Imperial Army now. We hadn't been able to sleep in real beds since we'd left Edo for the first time, for fear of being spotted and captured. Sure you can sleep all by yourself, Chizuru? You won't get scared or anything? I'm not a kid. I can sleep by myself just fine, thank you. He grinned. Don't worry, I do worry about you, though. I was still working out how to respond to that when... He moaned, and his face twisted in pain. Okita wrapped his hands around his stomach and doubled over, groaning. Is it the bloodlust? Then I had to. Give him blood. If just I gave him some blood, the pain would go away. I reached for my sword and then hesitated. Once a Fury tasted blood, there was no going back, Kaoru had said. Okita had refused it the first time, but had lied and said it was all right so that he would drink. If I gave him blood again, Okita looked for a second, then smiled. I could tell it was an effort, but then he broke his voice. When he spoke, his voice betrayed none of the pain he was in. You're holding out on me. Okita, that's not real nice to make me wait, you know. He'd seen right through me, and he'd given me the encouragement to do what we both knew was the right thing. This time I didn't hesitate. I drew the sword across my hand, and a thin line of blood appeared. He leaned forward, breath warm on my palm. I could hear the pain in his voice, but when his mouth touched my arm, it was gentle and soft. I promise you. Suddenly he spoke, his voice calm. No matter how bad it gets, I won't let the bloodlust control me. I won't kill someone for their blood. His words felt like they were as much for him as they were for me. Yours is the only blood I'll drink, and only when you choose to give it to me. I trust you. Tears pushed from the corners of my eyes. Okita, This wasn't the first time he'd felt the pain and need for blood, and it wouldn't be the last. It wasn't an easy promise for him to make or keep. I had been the one to give him blood in the first place and doom him to the gore-drenched downward spiral that would end only in madness and death. Can you ever forgive me? By then his breathing had returned to normal and his body was no longer racked with pain. Forgive you for what? I decided to drink your blood, not you. His smile was gentle. I want you to stay with me. If I start to lose it, I'm gonna need your help. My heart pounded inside of my chest and my throat was tight with emotion. I looked up into his eyes. I'll stay with you, Okita. They were simple words, but to me, at least, they had the strength of 1,000 more well-spoken vows. The next night, we got in touch with Dr. Matsumoto. Oh, he's not dead. Good. I just expect everybody to be dead. As soon as he realized we'd returned to Edo, he rushed to the house, bringing along 2 other visitors we'd never expected to see. Sun-chan, I missed you! Chizuru, I'm so... No, what voice did I use for her? Chizuru, I'm so glad to see you're safe. Sen? She was nearly beside herself with joy and relief of my safety, but I didn't understand why they were there. Why are you with Dr. Matsumoto? My lady was worried for you. You are awesome, lady. I don't know. You are extremely hot. I'm a heterosexual, but I think you're extremely hot. I just wanted to mention that. Even after I'd refused Sen's offer twice and sent her away, she'd never stopped being concerned for me. Ever since the Shinsengumi left Kyoto, we didn't know where he'd gone. We found the Shinsengumi who was staying in Edo, but you weren't among them. After a little more searching, she explained they found Dr. Matsumoto and confided in him, hoping that he might have some idea where I'd gone to. That had happened only a few days earlier. I am really happy to see you're all right. I could see tears in her eyes as she spoke, and I was touched. I'm sorry I made you worry. Sen is like the most underrated character in the world. Like, I see people all the time. Like, I see very, very, very little Hakuouki on the internet because it's not that popular. But when I see it, it's only about the guys and how wonderful they are. And of course, it's an Otome game. But god damn, this girl offered to make babies for somebody. Just to save us, okay? She walks through a country to make sure we're safe. She is amazing. God. But I had Okita to protect me. Sen blinked and stared at me for a moment, then realization dawned on her face and she smiled. Well, I'm relieved you're doing so well. I would dearly love to hear more about you, but perhaps it would be best we discuss some other rather pressing issues first. Alright, I nodded. I've learned something about Kodo. She glanced over at Kimigiko expectantly. The other woman nodded and then began to speak. The Tokugawa forced Kodo to conduct experiments on Shinsengumi using the Water of Life. She went to explain that Kodo was from a lesser branch of the Yukimura family. He'd escaped the shogunata's wrath when they killed the rest of the family, so he had little choice when they told him to work on the Water of Life. The Water of Life was important from the West. It's a poison that destroys the spirit and drives one mad, but he somehow managed to make it less toxic. Unfortunately, we don't know how he managed to do that. Still, if he's able to mitigate its effects, don't you think it's possible, if not likely, that he would remove them completely? What? By that, did she mean it may be possible to turn a Fury back into a human? Could such a thing even be possible? That sounds crazy. Still, if I was anyone else, I think Fury sounded crazy too. So you don't have an idea how he did it, huh? No, I don't, but I imagine he would. That's true, but he's missing. Sen smiled brightly. Not anymore. We know where he is. You do? That was... was that what she meant when she said she'd learned something about him? According to some, my father was staying on land that had belonged to the main branch of the Yukimura family. That meant where I was born. Sen nodded. I know the general location. I can give you a map later, but the Yukimura house is to the northeast. As far as we can tell, Kodo is continuing his research on the Furies. He's come back to my hometown to do his research. Curing a Fury isn't easy, but perhaps Kodo will be able to do it. He did know more about the Furies than anyone else. Perhaps with his help we could save Okita. Well, that's us too. What do you want to do, Chizuru? Well, My voice drifted off into silence. I wanted very much to see my father, but I didn't want to leave Okita. In the silence that left, Dr. Matsumoto cleared his throat. Before you decide, will you take a moment to listen to what I have to say as well? Oh, of course! I was happy for any interruption that would distract me from answering Okita's question, but the news Matsumoto had for us was more than I bargained for. Yeah, I knew this. Kondo has surrendered to the Imperial Army. What? His face went pale with shock and flushed red with fury. Why would Kondo do that? What the hell is Hichikata doing out there? Please, Okita, calm down. Although he covered it well, I could see that the doctor had been surprised by Okita's reaction. Okita enraged for not a thing many people saw. No, I won't. I can't. He shook his head sharply. Okita. Not many things could pierce Okita's emotional armor, but danger to Kondo was one of them. And danger to us, if you haven't realized it yet. I don't really know the details. There is no such thing. There is no doubt Kondo surrendered. My source is inside the Shogunate, and he has no reason to lie to me. I'm sorry, I have to move. My foot is sleeping quite heavily. I might add, if I stood up now, I would fall on my butt. TMI, I know. Or perhaps we simply didn't want to believe. Hichikata is in command of the Shinsengumi now, and they've been fighting their way north. But how could the Shinsengumi still exist if their chief had surrendered? Hichikata betrayed Kondo. What else could it be? His voice was tight behind clenched teeth. We don't know that yet. Sen's good-hearted attempt to calm him down had, unfortunately, the opposite effect. Then you explain why the chief was the only one who surrendered. Hichikata just gave them Kondo. That bastard could have figured a way out of there, but he didn't. What more proof do you need? Okita's voice was growing louder as his control began to slip away. Sen frowned. Oh man, I don't know. I want to tell him to calm down because it's him who's completely out of league, and maybe we could make him calm down? I don't know. Okay, calm the fuck down, Okita. Getting mad now isn't going to help Kondo. I kept my voice as steady and stern as I could manage. But his eyes widened in surprise, but he felt silent. Small audience stayed quiet as well, clearly interested to see where the conversation would go. Doubtless they were surprised as Okita to hear me talk to him like that. We can argue all we want, but none of us really know what happened to Kondo and the Shinsengumi. I didn't want to do anything that might hurt his feelings, but it was all too likely that he would say something in his anger that he would regret later. That's why I fixed him and glare. This is not a time for bickering. He was silent for several moments, apparently taking in what I'd said. Eventually he lowered his face sheepishly and looked away. Thanks, and sorry. See, we're the only ones who can calm him down. God. The rage of a... By the way, Chizuru is awesome. I was afraid that she'd get pushed around by him, but she's starting to take charge. That's good. That's a good thing. Giving. Right. The rage of only minutes ago was gone, replaced by calmness. Whatever. I'm sorry too, I was out of line. He smiled sideways at me and then turned to face Dr. Matsumoto. Do you know why Kondo is? What do you want to know? His brows were furrowed. He suspected he already knew. I'm going to save him. Okita's tone was deadly serious. Dr. Matsumoto's lips thinned. Okita had said exactly what he expected him to. You can't. It's impossible. Well, I won't know till I try, will I? The doctor simply shook his head. You don't understand. This isn't something you can handle alone. Kondo is the chief to Shinsengumi. You aren't the only person who'd want to save him. Therefore, wherever he is, he will be well guarded. And before you run off half-cocked, keep in mind that they'll be expecting Furies. Their men will probably be armed with silver bullets. He was right. Okita and I knew it, but the truth cut in like a knife. Even if Hijikata dispatched the entire Shinsengumi, they couldn't rescue Kondo from the Imperial Army. Then what the hell am I supposed to do? I was going to appeal to the Shogunates to spare his life. That will be difficult. Dr. Matsumoto nodded in agreement, his face grim. If the Shogunate tries to save Kondo, the act could anger the Imperial Army unnecessarily. The Shogunate hopes to spare Edo from the ravages of war. They'll abandon Kondo to do that, I have no doubt. No! Kondo had spent his blood, sweat, and tears on the service of the Shogunate. Now they would simply abandon him to his fate? It seemed too cruel, too heartless. I felt Kondo's loss, of course, but that was nothing compared to the pain Okita was in. Okita, what do you want to do? He thought for a moment. I want to see Hijikata. I need to talk to him. After that, I don't know. Alright. I didn't press for more. Okita. My eyes met his. I'm going with you. He looked surprised, then concerned. No, you should go find your father. My choice was to stay with Okita. Yes, I wanted to know more about the Furies, and I wanted to see my father again, but I couldn't leave Okita alone. Not now. Yeah, and seeing your father is probably a bad idea because he's an evil son of a bitch. Fine. He sighed and shrugged, not willing to test my determination. If Hijikata had betrayed Kondo, then I had no doubt Okita would kill him without hesitation. And if that time came, I wanted to be there for them. So you've decided? Ugh, that's not a voice. So you've decided you'll be going with Okita? Yeah. My voice was steady and sure. The smile Flynn gave me was bright and warm. Then I'm happy for you. Best of luck, Chizuru. Thank you. It was nice of her to wish me luck, but I couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Stay safe. She bowed to me as she spoke. Thank you very much. Sen and Kimigiku had come all the way to Edo just to see if I was all right. I couldn't thank them enough. Okita gave Dr. Matsumoto a short, polite bow. Thank you for taking care of me. If you're ever in Edo again, come visit me, alright? I like their relationship. Their relationship is good. I like that. I like that. At that moment, I found myself wondering if I would ever see these people again. You probably won't. We're in the place in the game where shit's going down and fuck knows what's gonna happen, but everybody's probably gonna die. We left during the night. The Imperial Army was out in force, searching for rebels and the like, so we were forced to run most of the way through dark streets and back alleys. Suddenly Okita stopped. Chizuru, get behind me. If this is Kaoru, then please, don't hesitate, just kill him. Kill him. Let the Joffrey moment happen. Alright. I ducked behind him just as I heard the voice. No, that's not her. Okay, you're okay. Still annoying, but after something happened in Hijikata's route with Katsuma, I've been a little bitter at him, but it's okay. I didn't think you were in Edo. Standing in front of us was Chikage Katsuma, a tight, crooked smile on his face. What are you doing here? I heard the Shinsengumi was already moving north. Okita shrugged. I don't really think why we're here or what we're up to is really any of your business. Amagiri sighed. True. In any event, it seems fortune has been kind to us. As he spoke, Kazuma slid his sword from its scabbard. Somebody needs to take these guys to therapy, god damn it, and just, like, violence is not always the answer. Repeat, violence is not always the answer. Can you, don't get that sword out, just talk it through. Please. God damn it. We can take the girl and dispose of this irritating fake. Okita's smile was cold. Man, I don't want to be rude, but you ain't taking her anywhere, and if you think you're going to dispose of me, then you've got another thing coming, pal. And Maguri stepped back, showing no sign of attacking. I didn't want to be a burden to Okita. Then there had to be something I could do. I reached for my sword. Don't. I felt more than heard Amagiri's low rumble. You are no match for these men. If you put yourself in between, you will die. He was probably right. I bit my lip and let my hand fall from my sword. Okita's battle had begun. Both men were immensely skilled, but it was clear even to me that Okita would never be able to stand his ground, were he not a fury. Again and again they leapt at one another, the clang of metal ringing through the night. Oh, he's gone all demon now. He's gotten better. Honestly, I don't really care what you think. They held nothing back, even as they continued their banter. I was beginning to think they were evenly matched when... Though neither swords had connected, blood spattered to the ground. A fake and a fool. Kazuma's smile was cold and arrogant. Your disease makes you little more than invalid. Did you really think you could defeat a true demon in this state? What? Okita drew his hand roughly across his mouth. It came to the way stained with blood. Okita? I was afraid to ask. You still have tuberculosis? Okita said nothing. Kazuma's laughter cut at my heart like a flurry of knives. The water of life gives physical strength, but it can only restore fresh wounds. It cannot cure a disease. No! With each word, my chest squeezed tighter and tighter. A fake has no right to live. If you insist on pretending to be a samurai, then you accept your death and die like one. Kazuma tightened his grip on his sword. I leapt in front of Okita and spread my arms as wide as I could. What is this? I'm also a fury! I fixed him a glare and did my best to hide the trembling of my legs. If Okita doesn't have the right to live, then neither do I. What? Kazuma's eyes flew in shock. You drank the water of life? My voice tinged with desperation as I rapidly recounted how I'd become a fury. I told them how I'd discovered my long-lost brother, how he'd forced the water of life down my throat, and how I'd begun to experience the symptoms that signified a fury. I've heard of the Nagumo family, but I never thought they would turn to the water of life. Amagiri seemed stunned. He has no pride. There was disgust in his voice. Your body has been corrupted. You cannot give birth to a demon. Kazuma sighed and returned his sword to its scabbard as his horns disappeared. Go. What? You may be a fury now, but you have the blood of a demon. If this concerns your family, then you must settle it yourself. Okita slowly slid his sword back into its sheath as well. Then you're going to leave her alone now. She no longer has any value to me. Damn, that hurts, even though it's good, but it hurts still. And I kinda like how Okita's taller than that guy. Harsh, blunt words to be sure, but to hear them from Kazuma's mouth was a blessing. Yeah, that's the way I was feeling. The war of the humans had begun will soon end. After the Imperial Army takes Edo, they mean to head north to destroy what remains of the old Shogunata's army. The domains on the northeast are still resisting, but there can be no doubt to the final outcome. We have fulfilled obligations to the Satsuma domain. Human affairs is no longer any concern of ours. That was what passed for goodbye, apparently, as he turned on his heel and walked off. Until such a time as demons are needed once again, we will disappear. Amagiri inclined his head in something not quite a bow, turned and was gone. Okita looked at me and smiled. Well, that's good news, right, Chizuru? One problem taken care of. He was right, but I couldn't help I couldn't bring myself to feel particularly cheerful about it. Okita, I wanted to ask him about his tuberculosis, but... Come on, we need to move. If the Imperial Army finds us, we're gonna be in trouble. Huh? Oh! He grabbed my hand and began to run. I didn't want to believe that he was sick. Perhaps there had been some sort of mistake. Don't be stupid. All I could do was hope. Hope is an illusion. Oh god, I'm negative. Holy shit. Just realized that. Oh, chapter 6. Damn. Damn. It's soon over, ain't it? It's gonna be over soon. Shit. God. Ahem. Oh, it's the Black Story time. We left Edo on the trail of the Shinsengumi. They joined forces with Denshu Company and were headed for Nikko. Denshu Company was an elite unit made up from men of the Shogunate army who'd been trained in Western weapons and warfare. Okita and I slept deep in the forest during the day and only traveled at night after the sun had set. On one particular day, we found ourselves resting some distance from the main road. They went that way. A whistle echoed through the forest. The Imperial Army had found us, and the sun was still a long time from setting. So as long as it was light out, Okita and I couldn't move as quickly or smoothly as we would have liked. Yeah, we're fucked. I don't think we can lose them. We're gonna have to fight. He looked over at me and grinned as he pulled his sword from its scabbard. Could you go hide somewhere? I can take care of this. A year ago I would have simply nodded and gone to hide. No, I'm going to fight too. I drew my kadachi as I spoke, and I saw Okita's eyes widen. This time it was my turn to smile. They aren't demons. I think I should be able to help. Even during the day I was still a demon. I didn't want to make him suffer alone. And the whistle sounded this one much closer. I found them over there! Within moments we were surrounded. Let's go, Chizuda. Right! Fighting in the sunlight was hard. I felt dizzy and my body was sluggish and unresponsive, but I told myself that Okita was suffering just as I was, and I pushed on. You guys can't hold a candle to me! But one by one the Imperial soldiers fell beneath his blade. Stand your ground, men! Fire! Oh, fuck! Guns! Silver bullets! Fuck! At his command, gunshots echoed throughout the forest. I felt several bullets whistle past me, but one hit my leg. Blood splattered out from the wound staining the ground beneath me. I barely even realized what had happened when the pain hit me. Even as I screamed, my wound was closing. It would be fine. I wouldn't let Okita worry about me. With the sword in hand, I leapt forward and slashed my blade across his arm. With a cry, he dropped his gun. One less soldier. You! Perhaps killing someone had left me stunned, but I didn't even notice the second man until he was only feet away, his gun aimed squarely at my chest. Suddenly Okita was there. His sword flashing in the sunlight, the bullet that had been meant for me flew off harmlessly in the forest. The man collapsed without a sound. Could you not run out in front like that? I'll worry less if you stay behind me, alright? Right. His voice was curt, but I could hear the kindness behind him. Yeah, you just gotta remember, Chizuru, Okita is a cruel man. Like, he is not nice. Like, you say he's kind, he's not. But he loves you, so he's kind to you. Just remember that. Just remember that little tiny detail. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. I apologize for my computer, it's a little noisy. That happens. I'm sorry. His words were curt, but I could hear the kindness. Yeah, we just read that, I'm sorry. If I give you orders, can you follow them? His eyes met mine. I want you to back me up. You don't have to kill anyone. Even as bullets tore through the air, his first thought was to protect me. Okita was an amazing warrior, and he was easily the superior of any of the soldiers we were fighting, but he was still far weaker than he would be at night. I want to. Under the sunlight, he would never be at his best. I wanted to make up for that. Just aim for their weapons. Your sword won't cut as well if it's covered in blood and guts. Alright. In the middle of the fight, he'd understood what I wanted, and considered my feelings. I smiled and felt a little stronger. The bullets didn't let up, but we fought side by side and pushed ahead. We both took several hits, but our wounds healed almost instantly. Are you Furies from the Shinsengumi? I could see disgust in his eyes. From what he said, they knew the existence of Furies. You've heard of us? I'm surprised. Guess ordering our men to keep their mouths shut wasn't enough. His tone was casual, but I could see his tone tighten as he spoke. Prepare the silver bullets. Fuck. That was bad. Yeah, that is bad. Okay, we could shrug off normal bullets easily enough, but if we were hit by silver bullets, stay behind me. His words left no room for argument, and he set off to work immediately, killing as many men as he could reach. Even so, we found ourselves surrounded by nearly 30 men. We're so fucked. Things were looking bad when suddenly... What is this? With deadly hits, like blades appeared out of nowhere, flying through the air to slam into the enemy soldiers. Let's go, I'm here to help. I recognized that voice. Yamazaki, you fucking little amazing boss guy! I love you! Stay with me forever, you've just saved our butts! I am so happy! God! Were you another Shinsengumi? Yamazaki's eyes didn't waver from Okita and myself. I'll take the rear. Go. Before he'd even finished speaking, Okita was on the move. I followed one step behind. The Imperial soldiers had thrown the disarray by Yamazaki's appearance, but their confusion wouldn't last. This was their only chance to escape. Don't let them get away. Fire! Fire! His men shook themselves and raised their guns. Shuriken flew from Yamazaki's fingers. I heard the wet thunk of each one striking flesh, followed by the screams of his targets. With Okita's sword and Yamazaki's help, we could break through. We could escape. Fuck. Okay, I didn't want you to come anyway, Yamazaki, please don't. We nearly made it when Yamazaki cried out and stumbled. He'd been shot! I hesitated. Don't stop running, go! I swallowed what he said. We ran on, deep into the forest, and eventually the cries of the Imperial soldiers faded and were gone. The sunlight pierced into the canopy that had turned red by the time we slowed and stopped. Are you sure you can keep this up, Yamazaki? You're shot. This is getting a little reckless even for you. Okita's face was grim and drawn, and not just with the pain of sunlight and the strain of running. If you had stopped, they would have killed me. He spoke through gritted teeth, his hands clamped around his wound. I didn't want to die, so I kept running. I'm sorry if you're disappointed. The bullet had hit him in the side, and although it was clearly painful, he was fortunate not to have been shot in the leg. A leg wound would have slowed him down even more. He likely would have never escaped. I bound Yamazaki's injury in silence, and only when the bleeding seemed to have stopped, I finally did speak. Why were you here? He didn't seem quite present for information when he was wounded, but the question had been eating me since it first appeared. He was silent for several moments before he finally spoke. After we split up at Kofu, I joined the main body of the Shinsengumi and followed Hichikata north. A little while ago, he sent me down here to try and get an idea of what the Imperial Army was up to. And that's when you found us? He hesitated. Actually, I found you a couple of days ago. What? I blinked. I knew you'd come looking for the Shinsengumi eventually. His voice was calm, matter of fact. I wasn't sure, but you've heard about Kando, haven't you? Okisa nodded. Then I'll be honest, I didn't show myself because I'm not sure I want you and Hichikata meeting each other. Because I might kill him? Yamazaki said nothing. I didn't want you to make contact, but I couldn't exactly forget I'd seen you either, so I followed you for a couple of days. You were spying on us. Yes. They glared at one another for a few moments before Okita looked away. He sighed. Can't believe I didn't notice you. I hadn't noticed him either, of course, but Okita looked significantly more put out. That just goes to show how much toll this journey has taken on you. Yeah, maybe. Okita shocked. Some of the tightness in his face melted away and he smiled. Well, I don't need to apologize or anything. It's my fault for not smelling you out, and you did save our lives. Yamazaki looked stunned. It took him a moment to recover his composure, but when he spoke it was in a different tone to his voice. You've changed. A lot. It's kind of a backhanded compliment, isn't it? Their eyes were smiling and the tension of a few minutes ago was gone. Things felt right again. So what are you going to do when you see Hijikata? Haven't figured that out yet. Maybe I'll kill him, or maybe he'll kill me. Honestly, I don't know. Yamazaki looked at Okita for a long moment, his eyes searching for something. Shinsengumi is at Utsunomiya Castle. His gaze was level. Look out for Hijikata, alright? Okita said nothing. What about you? I think I'm going to rest here for a bit. All this talking made me tired. He closed his eyes. Yamazaki? I get the feeling you're about to die. You don't leave me. No, God, I know where this is gonna end. Tell Hijikata I'm going to be a little late, but I'll join him soon. No, he's going to die. Don't fucking leave. No, he's going to die. Are you stupid? Oh my God. No, I've been trying to keep him alive with sheer force of will, but it's not going so well. God. I'm sad. We said our goodbyes to Yamazaki and made our way to Utsunomiya Castle. By staying to the forest, we managed to avoid any further patrols, and soon we found ourselves outside the castle town. Just as Yamazaki had said, it was clearly occupied by the Shinsengumi and soldiers from the former shogunate. Alright, let's go. He stepped forward towards the town. Okita. He might fight Hijikata, and Hijikata might die, or perhaps Okita himself would die. I didn't want to see either of those things come to pass. I felt as if I had to say something, but I didn't know what. Are you really going? The words felt childish even as I said them. Do you really have to do this? I knew I was acting like a fool, but I had to stop him. Well, we didn't come to Utsunomiya to have fun, did we? His mouth was twisted up into a wry smile. If you don't want to go, you can wait here. I don't mind. He turned to walk away. Wait! I couldn't give up. He knows we don't want him to die. And shouldn't we rather be telling him to not do what would destroy his soul? Because if he kills Hijikata, I'm pretty sure he will be destroyed. Because his rage and that inner demon he has inside of him would definitely make him kill Hijikata, but Hijikata is his friend. He loves him, even though he really doesn't want to admit it. And that would kill a little part of himself, so don't kill him. Don't kill him. Just don't do it. Please don't kill Hijikata. Okita's eyes narrowed, and I could feel his gaze boring into me. When he spoke, his tone was half question, half demand. Are you worried about Hijikata? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I hesitated only a moment before answering. But I'm more worried about you. I don't want you to kill him. Okita was more important to me by far, but if Hijikata dies, you'll be sad. You might not say it, but you will be. See? I understand. I could totally read that. He could take a life with a smile on his face, but Okita wasn't nearly as cruel as he claimed. If he killed Hijikata out of anger, I had no doubt he would never forgive himself. Okita had been through so much already. I just don't want you to be sad anymore. My words felt so small. Yeah, but they had lots of impact. Okita looked surprised, but that quickly softened into tenderness. Well, oh, that was right. I'm so good. Well, I'm happy you're worried about my feelings. He smiled. But I have to go see him. You understand why, right? Even Okita still hadn't sorted out how he felt. He didn't know what would happen when he met Hijikata any more than I did. That was why he couldn't promise me he wouldn't kill him. I still had doubts, but it was clear that his mind was made up. All I could do was not. Suddenly, Okita groaned, and his face twisted in pain. White flooded his hair, and through agony, and though agony had squeezed his eyes to slits, I could see they were red. Okita! The bloodlust had returned. From the look of him, it was more painful than before. Always give blood. Always give blood. I drew my kodachi and drew it across my skin in one motion. Okita, here! I held out my hand. He didn't even hesitate. As he lapped the blood, I heard him mumble, "Thanks." "Okita." Whatever doubts I had were swept away. I offered him blood and he accepted. It was a simple thing, but it warmed my heart just the same. In the time the bloodlust passed, but it did so only give way to yet another problem. Fuck. Okita's breathing had just begun to steady when we heard the sound of artillery fire. That's... The Tsunomiya Castle had come under attack from the Imperial Army. The Shinsengumi and their allies had been resisting as best they could, but they were at a disadvantage. They're surrounded. I don't think we'll be able to push our way through. Our vantage point afforded us an excellent view of the battle, and things did not look good. Hichikata is going to order the retreat eventually. We should try and predict where they'll go, then get there first. Alright. Suddenly the world began to spin around me. My head throbbed and I felt as if I was about to vomit. My body began to shake, and Okita caught my arm just in time to prevent me from collapsing on the ground. "You're right, is this?" He didn't have to say it. I shook my head fiercely. "No, I don't feel like I want blood." My demonic body was resisting the effects of the water of life. A spasm of pain shot through me. "I'm fine." I did my best to stand up straight and forced a weak smile onto my face. This was nothing. "I can walk." Okita frowned, looked as if he was about to say something when a ragged cough shot his body. "Okita!" Tuberculosis. As healthy as he seemed, it was still there, eating away at his lungs. "Maybe we should..." I had meant to suggest we rest, but Okita interrupted me with a dismissive wave of his hand. "If you're alright, then we should get moving." His voice was calm. "This is our best chance to catch up with Hichikata. I'm not losing him again." He was right. "Okay, let's go." I still wasn't sure if letting him meet with Hichikata was the best idea, but if he's made up his mind, that was little I could do. "Let me know if you start feeling better, right?" He gave me a quick smile, then took my hand and began to walk. He's soft. We leaned against one another for support as we went, which brought his face closer to mine. As we moved, we talked, but after a while our conversation ran out of steam. I took a big, deep breath and spoke. "If you do find Hichikata..." I paused. It was really right of me to ask. Nonetheless, I pushed on. "What will you do? Have you decided yet?" I didn't want to come across as a nag, and I was prepared for him to get irritated, but he did nothing of the sort. "I'm the son of a samurai, you know. My family wasn't real well off, though." I wasn't sure what had to do with Hichikata, but Okita wasn't usually one to talk about his life, and I wanted to know everything about him that I could learn. "My parents died when I was really young, and Shie Ho was nice enough to take me in as an apprentice." Shie Ho? I heard the name before a few times from the other Shinsengumi. "That's Kondo's dojo, isn't it?" He grinned and nodded, then went on to explain how most of the captains had met at that dojo. Between cleaning and doing his other chores, Okita had been trained in swordplay. Kondo really looked out for me. He was always happy to spar or just screw around. Guess you could say he was kinda like an older brother. Okita's admiration for Kondo was plain to hear as he spoke about the man. God. I have to end the episode here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.